Hey, I'm the Confused Ogre, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today, we're going to be encapsulating a painted miniature inside of an epoxy poured Easter egg. Let's get started.
Let's paint.
Now, every year, my family participates in an Easter egg painting competition. This year, I want to do something a little different. Instead of painting the Easter egg, I'm going to paint my miniature, and I'm going to do an epoxy pour inside of an Easter egg, polish it down, and hope it turns out crystal clear and turns out good. I wanted to do like a dwarf or a gnome, and these are the three dwarves from my box of bits to choose from. I'm going with this dwarf with a bow and an axe. I found these little mushrooms. I think they're going to go great with the foresty vibe that I'm looking for. I'm hoping to throw maybe a little tree, a rock, and some leafy ground cover to go with them. As for the base, I was going to go with an old school plastic base, but I saw these wooden branches I have cut out laying around, and I thought that is perfect for the vibe that I'm going for. Little sanding on the feet, so he's level, and perfect. I'm feeling really good about this. Now, I needed a way to suspend this miniature inside the egg, and the solution I came up with was to create kind of a root ball underneath the base that I can maybe super glue to the bottom of the egg, and it'll kind of raise it right to the level that I want. So a couple eyeball measurements, glued some sticks in there, and I'm going to do a quick coat of brown to fill in all of the light spots. As soon as that's dry, I'm going to pull out my bag of moss, and I'm going to fill in that root ball. Now, like I said, I've never really done a pour of epoxy on something like this, but I have fears of lots of air bubbles. So I'm thinking if I can coat this moss and sticks and pretty much everything with as much of this clear coat, realistic water as I can, I'm thinking that will eliminate air bubbles, but I'm not quite sure. Onward with the mini painting. So I glued the dwarf down to a little base so that I can work with him. And I get to work. Now, traditionally I've been pretty happy with that contrast speed painting technique with the zenithal dry brushing type work. With this miniature, I decided to try my hand at a little base layer and highlighting techniques. So with all of these different colors, I'm starting dark and just kind of working my way up light with each of the colors. I want to keep it pretty darn simple. I think the green cloak is going to be the highlight of the build, so I'm taking extra time on this, and everything I've learned in the last year of painting has kind of led me down the path of I don't even know what you call it, but I guess more of like that contrast style where it's not so much about the color, but the light values and the contrast. So I'm really going to try that on this miniature, and I'm going super bright towards the top area. Hopefully it's going to grab your attention and focus your eye. As for the skin and faces, I still am not very good at it. So the technique I found here is a good base layer with the skin flesh, the light flesh tone. And I do the same with the beard, a light orange. And I'm going to follow that up here in a little bit with some dark contrast paint. As you can see, kind of boring here, but I'm just going around the model as it dries and working up all the different colors I'm working with to brighter and brighter values. Now, in the past, I've gotten pretty, I go down the rabbit hole with way too much detail and colors. And the further down this hobby I get, the more I branch into just trying to keep it down, 3 to 5 color schemes in a model. With that all done, I do my shading here. So a little flesh tones for the beard and the skin. I use the same one, kind of ties it all together. And I wrap the whole model in a generous coat of Nuln Oil. Call me an amateur, but I still love this stuff, and I think it really makes your work look great. The next step is basing. I think this might be my favorite these days, is doing some basing. I love incorporating natural materials like this rock and some sticks here later on with some printed materials like these mushrooms. I don't know where I got them, but they seem like they would be a perfect fit for this build. I do a generous ground cover with some brown texture paint, and then I hit the mushrooms. Do kind of like a tannish color for the stems and underside before moving on to a purple. Now I'm going to do a darker purple for the entire mushroom, and same thing, I'm going to kind of build up to a lighter, brighter top, give it a little bit more dimension before finally finishing off with some white speckles. Now I could not be more happy with how these mushrooms turned out. I was stoked. They were exactly what I was envisioning. After popping the dwarf off of my painting base, I start to gather up all the vegetation that I'm going to need. I'm going to be using a wide variety of some different vegetations here, some different colors of grass, maybe some flowers, and this coarse turf by Woodland Scenics. Now I learned in a previous build that this coarse turf that I usually use for flocking trees looks great as moss when I put some of that realistic water with it. So that's what I do, coat it with some moss all around the base and the rock. Here's that stick that I wanted to add, a little log. Just busted off a piece of one from the backyard here. And then finally grab my little tufts of grass and just kind of work around, cutting them bigger and smaller and filling in all of the stuff that I left open. Another little branch on top, and I'm happy. Onward to epoxy. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous about doing the epoxy pour on this build. I'm pretty new to epoxy and I really don't know what to expect. I'm pretty nervous about ruining this miniature and all the hard work I did, and mostly I'm worried about the air bubbles coming out. There's a lot of nooks and crannies. I think I did my due diligence to give everything that might capture air bubbles some coats of that realistic water, but we'll see. Little mix of that 1-to-1 mixture, and I start pouring. I use a little catch container because I'm a little nervous about the epoxy running out of these cracks, so I double down and hot glue any crack I can find. Don't want any leakage. I fill it up, I roll it around, and I pray. Hopefully there's no air bubbles left. Okay, moment of truth. Let's cut this egg open. Now, one thing that really caught me by surprise was that the two halves of the shell were a little different size. So as you can see, I've got a big lip and a lot of grinding to do. After about 24 hours, the epoxy was hard enough to do some grinding and sanding. I pulled out the belt sander to get that big lip gone and started working my way up with sandpapers from 80 to 120 to 220 to 340. And after that, I didn't really know what to do, and I was honestly getting pretty frustrated because it was way cloudier than I thought it would be at this point. Yeah, I was honestly very frustrated, and it took me a lot of attempts working my way all the way up in sandpapers up to 1,000 before I was finally able to polish it with this rubbing and polishing compounds. But once I got to that phase, it finally started to look good, and I was happy. Crystal clear, there's a few bubbles in it, but kind of to be expected. Better than I thought. If you got any tips on how to remove those bubbles, let me know, guys. Anyway, this was a fun one, and I hope it wins first place in the show. Until next time, see ya!